there and welcome back. Oh my gosh, it seems like forever since we last caught up. I'm excited about the new season. I've got lots of great things planned and I'm so glad you've joined me for my first episode. Now, in March, like just long gone, I celebrated my 25th year at being in my healthy weight range. So I wrote a blog about this because I thought, well, what is it that I do and what did I learn to be able to achieve that? Because how many of you have lost weight and put it back on? So today I'm excited. I've written my notes here and I'm going to share with you 25 things that I've learnt since I gave up on dieting. Now, straight away you need pen and paper because there's 25 tips here, because remember it was 25 years that I've been in my healthy weight range. So let's get started. Now, the first one is that I am worth it. That's what I realised, that I was worth going to the effort of looking at a healthy lifestyle for myself. And so should you. You know, the thing is that when I think about the diets that I've been on in the past and I felt a failure from it, I realised that actually it wasn't really me that was the failure. It was actually the diets and the way I chose to lose the weight. So going into a healthy lifestyle was the big shift, and that's why I had to put that at number one, because it was shifting into a healthy lifestyle and a healthy mindset. Now, that's where I became a healthy person. So that's tip 2. And I just think and act like a healthy person every day. And that's what I own. It's not about being on a diet, it's about being healthy. And remember, the first 4 letters of healthy are heal. And I think that's what I did way back when I was losing my weight. And I think it's important to look at it as a journey and a lifestyle, not a diet. Now the third one, and I think this is really important, is that everything in moderation is the key to success when you want to lose weight. So learning how much you should have or how little you should have, or looking at portions is really, really important. Because I think that's the key to it, is having that knowledge and using the knowledge to make it work for you. Now, the next one is portion size. Now, look, I can remember my first day of being a healthy Annette. I cooked chicken and vegetables, and I remember I had to weigh 90 grams of chicken, cooked chicken, and I was starving. I could have eaten the rag out of a doll. I was so hungry my first day. And when I served up my 90 grams of chicken, I was like, excuse me? I can't even see the chicken on the plate. And that's when a little voice said to me, that's why you're fat, Annette. You know, so this was a realisation early on that very first day, yeah, I've got to make sure I'm eating what a healthy person would eat. And I would have probably eaten double that, which is probably why I was double the size I should have been. Now, then I embraced, which is number 5, is fresh food is the best. Like I often aim mainly for a 40% raw diet. I don't believe in complete raw diets. It's just too much for the system to handle. But really fresh is best. Like lots of veggies, salad, fruit. Keep it. When you're in the shopping aisle, make sure you fill your trolley with all the stuff from the healthy side before you start going into all the processed aisles in the supermarket. Now, the next one, which is really something that Annette at 100 kilos totally didn't do, and it was having breakfast. Yeah, I mean, I would think, well, if I cut out one meal, then it's going to help me lose weight. But then, of course, I'd start about 10:30, 11, and then just keep going all day. So it really was defeating the purpose. So start with breakfast, because when you start the day right, it seems to be that the rest of the day goes right as well. So remember, breakfast is important. Now, the next one was another huge shock for me. Number 7 is that water is the best drink. I know. I couldn't believe how different it tasted without scotch in it. I know. And so I started drinking water, not with cordial or any of those sort of things, just water. And now, of course, I could not be without my bottle of water wherever I go. And I think that's what helped me also with my skin as I was losing weight. So remember, it's about the whole package of wellness. This is not just about, losing weight. It's about you being fabulous, busy, and amazing. So the next one, number 8, is the junk food. Now let's be honest, folks. It's called junk food for a reason, isn't it? Because there's nothing good in it. There's nothing nutritional probably in it at all. So really, just put it to the side and realise it's junk food. Don't talk yourself into thinking that just because it's green it means it's healthy. No, it doesn't. Now, the next one is excuses, are lies. I think I really lied to myself a bit. I gave all these reasons for why I couldn't stick to a diet or why I was overweight, when I was really telling myself a load of crap, to be honest. I mean, when I think about it, think about what stories you're telling yourself to justify you staying in your comfort zone. And that's the thing, get out of your comfort zone. Let's look at the new fabulous you for the next part of this year. And we're going to be working on that on the show each week. A positive mindset's number 10. Remember I said at the very beginning, it's how you think. So a positive mindset is essential. I thought about what I wanted, not what I feared. I also thought about what I was going to gain from this journey opposed to what I was missing out of, because I was thinking, well, okay, I can't have fish and chips on Friday night. That means I've got to cook. But then I'd make my low-fat fish and chips and everyone was happy with it, and so was I. And it's just, sometimes we can be a bit lazy with our food choices when we're big. And I want you to go into that, give this all you've got. And this is number 11 tip. I had to learn to be open to change. And that was learning new things. I read books, I researched. I looked at food in a different way, because I looked at it, is this going to nourish me and help me and give me energy, opposed to just, being a treat and just tucking into food that I enjoyed. And I found a punnet of raspberries was just as joyful as anything else, opposed to, the unhealthy choices. And I think that if I could just go back a minute to that positive mindset on number 10, just be your own friend there. Think about how can you help yourself. You've got so much wisdom, I'm sure, and you probably would be able to give your best friend all the tips and advice and support. Well, make sure you're doing it for yourself. So I just want to remember that one. Now, number 12 is certain foods are definitely not a part of a healthy lifestyle. I'll give you an example. McDonald's. Haven't been in a McDonald's and eaten McDonald's for 25 years. Yeah, I just went, it's not for me. To me, McDonald's, there's nothing in there. I know they have salads and all that, but over the years, that's just recently. But I've just found if I need to eat something, I can always find a better place than that type of food. Now, another thing that, and I know some of you are going to just, please don't turn off, but alcohol was holding me back. It really was. Now, I was never a big drinker. But when I did drink and go out with friends and socialise and that, I found that on those weeks, I would gain weight. And this is when I'm in my healthy Annette. This is what I was doing over that 20 months that I was trying to lose my weight. And I found that, I'd gain weight. And so I decided, what's more important to me right now? Is it that glass of wine, or is it getting on the scales next week and seeing a loss instead of a gain? And the answer was pretty simple. So I just started with soda water with lime juice and things like that, and I've never turned back. And now I just don't drink. Not saying you have to do that, but please have more days with less alcohol in it than with, okay? Good one. Now, number 14 is you can have too much of the good stuff. Now, I'll use fruit as an example. I remember coaching a lady that had lost a massive amount of weight, Tina Poole. She'd lost 80 kilos or something. She was learning how to maintain her weight, and she rang me and was saying, Annette, I'm having trouble. And I worked it out in a quick story that she was eating about 1 kilo of grapes every day. They were on special, they were in season. And I said, oh, honey, that's just too much. You can't eat 1 kilo of grapes. It's just too much, carbohydrate and sugar, and natural sugar. And she cut it down to just a portion, which is 150 grams, is what I call one portion of fruit. And she was on the road again to success. And as she said, oh my gosh, the grapes were causing me grief, who would have thought? So just remember that one serve of fruit is 150 grams, and I allowed myself between 2 and 3 serves while I was losing my weight. And now in maintenance, I have about 4 to 5. So just bear that in mind. So for example, if you weighed an apple and it was 300 grams, well, there's 2 pieces of fruit. You can have the big apple. You've just got to allocate it. Now, I've got to tell you, when I think back to all the diets that I tried, I mean, please, I've done everything. I even tried hypnosis. The hardest thing was getting started. So this is my number 15 tip. Please just start, because you know what? Don't live in this regret. I want you to begin, get going, and know that I'll be here every Thursday to help pick you up and motivate you. Because, you know, once again, remember, tip 1, you're worth it. Now, this is the other thing that I had. 16 was I had to be accountable for my own actions. So I stopped blaming everybody else for my obesity and realised that basically it was my hands that were feeding me, nobody else. And so I took ownership and responsibility, and that really helped with my attitude as well. And tip 17 is please be patient. I know I was a lecturer for Weight Watchers for 4.5 years, way before I started doing my cookbooks, and I realised that people just want it now. They want it because it goes on so quickly. But please just be patient. It took me 20 months to lose my weight, but as you know, 25 years later, I'm telling you, it can work. Now, tip 18 is give up. Giving up wasn't an option. I can remember one time I thought, oh, you know what, I'm sick of this. This is too hard. And I thought, you know, who cares, you know, whatever. And then a little voice said to me, but Annette, you really do care. And I thought, yeah, this isn't about anybody else but me. Yes, I thought it was great to be a role model for my kids and be fabulous for my husband. But in the day, that's not what will keep you going. It's about you and the journey. Remember, number 1, I keep coming back to it, because you're worth it. Number 19, now this really helped me in that whole thing about you know, not giving up, was to look for support. Get the right people to support you. You know, I went to a weight loss club. Remember, I was actually working for Weight Watchers very early on in the piece, and so I had my weekly weigh in there. You know, maybe if you don't want to go to, you haven't got time to go to meetings and that, just have a weigh-in, official weigh-in, and maybe do it with someone else, or you email somebody so it makes you accountable. But just look for the support and like-minded people. You want the people that are going to build you up, not knock you down. Now, number 20 is really important because it's self-discipline is really empowering. So when you start taking ownership, and I'll give you an example, and I mentioned it early on, that when I saw McDonald's, I said, that's not for me. Now, what I realised was just because there's a bakery around the corner or there's this cake shop, I'm walking with the supermarket and they've got mud cake on special, I just would look at it and go, you know what, that's not for me. And it just changed everything. So I just walked by. And really, when you have that positive statement in your head, that's not for me, you realise that just because it's there, you don't have to have it. You know what I mean? It will really help you. Now, we've gone to tip 21, and there is power in the choices you make. So remember that if you don't change anything, nothing's going to change. So think of the choices you make and make sure you're not living with regret at the end of the day. You know, I always say no once in the supermarket, and then you don't have to say no 100 times when you bring it home. You know what I mean by that. Now, 22 is anything is possible. And this is where I really dared to dream. I wanted to look at this as a fabulous thing for Annette, and I wanted, now that I just had my birthday while you were away as well in April, and I'm 63 now, I'm glad I did it, because I don't know if I would be the healthy Annette I am today if I hadn't lost this weight. Because I'm scared that, thinking back, that I wouldn't be 100, I'd probably be 150 now. So I wouldn't want to be carrying that weight around in my 60 years. Now, 23 is I focused on what I wanted. You know, think about what you want. I thought about wearing jeans with a belt. I thought about tucking in shirts. I thought about being able to wear a pair of boots that would fit me, because often, you know, they were too small around the top of my leg. Think about what you want, not what you fear, okay? Focus on that. Now, the 24 is, you know, self-love is really important. Remember, you're worth it. Go back to number 1 all the time, and know that, you know, make time for you. Make time to cook the food. Make time to shop. Treat it like a job. Think, this is my job for the next few months here. This is about me getting healthy and fabulous, because it's exactly what I did, and look where I am today. And the last one has to be, have no regrets. Don't look back in 5 years or 2 years or 10 years and go, gosh, I wish that time that I was listening to Annette on Facebook, if I'd acted and started then, where would I be now? Don't live with regret. And I mean, the whole thing is that with my cookbooks, they're going to help you so much. But I'm going to give away, you know, of course we have to do giveaways every week. And so this week I decided to really help you on, if you're getting started with me now, is my breakfast shakes, because I just think they are so good. And I wished I'd had them when I was starting with my breakfast, because, you know, I really struggled introducing that in my early days. So what you do, if you would like to win your own box of shakes, you can pick any flavour, the creamy vanilla iced coffee or wicked chocolate, serves 14. They were 39 bucks. What you do is you like, share, and in the comments, hashtag simply number 2 good. Remember, hashtag simply with a Y, 2 good, and you'll go in the draw, and I will randomly pick 3 fabulous winners for next week. Now, talking about next week, I'm going to be in the kitchen, excited, and I thought about what would be something really good for Mother's Day. And I know my mum, God bless her, she's 89, loves a sponge. Now, have you had fear at the word of sponge? Because I remember when I made a sponge once, it looked like a frisbee. Certainly didn't look like the picture in the book. Well, I'm going to show you my recipe for light sponge next week, and I'm telling you, it'll be a tower of fabulousness. It is so easy. I honestly don't think anyone can fail. It's that simple. So join me next week in the kitchen. And I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? I've given you my 25 tips. Now, if you just think, oh my gosh, Annette, I didn't write them down, then you can go onto my website, www.simplytoogood.com.au, go to the blogs, and you'll see my 25 tips there for you. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back. I feel great. I feel fabulous, and I hope you do too. Look forward to seeing you next week, guys. Bye now.